Hey everybody, welcome back to our channel here on Roop Adventures. Thank you for joining us today. I am doing our vlog today dedicated to our homeschool because we are wrapping up our 2021-2022 school year. It is the end of June, and so I wanted to do a recap. If you're into homeschool, you'll probably be interested. If homeschool's not your thing or you don't care about it, might not be the best vlog for you. But we appreciate all of you who have watched with us today. We wouldn't have much of a channel without you guys. Today is the homeschool video I did not want to make because it includes our fair share, or should I say my fair share of failures for this school year. I had the very best of intentions when I got started. It did not go the way I had planned at all. The end of the school year looks nothing like the first of the school year looked. And I just want this to be a place where we're honest, because there's so much pressure to be the best mom, the best stay-at-home mom, the best homeschool parent, the one who teaches their kids all the right things and uses all the right curriculum, and all of your children are brilliant and pass every test and exceed every standard that, you know, we're in North Carolina, so we still have to do some sort of testing in the school year. If anybody asks them questions, you want them to be able to give these great answers. So there's like all this built-in pressure, and you want to look great all the time as a homeschool mom. And truth be told, this year I would not be able to say that I'm like super proud of how our school year went. I'm very proud of how it ended. So we began this school year very excited about exploring countries and cultures from my father's world. Now, I have looked at this curriculum before. I have wanted to do this curriculum before, and for whatever reason, I went a different direction. But this was our year. We were going to do this together. We were going to learn as a family, because all of the grades study the same information and the same topics, and you learn together as a family. And that was what I really wanted. That was the vision that I had for our family. That's how I wanted us to learn. And I wanted it to be fun. I wanted it to be something that we could all come together and talk about and share with one another, because we were all studying the same things. Of course, with my father's world, you still have to have your individual math, because obviously a 7th grader's math and a 2nd grader's math, you know, with any of these curriculums, everybody's going to have their own math. But otherwise, I wanted us to all be on the same page, kind of studying the same things, building this family relationship, and enjoying learning together. And I thought that a setup like this would provide that for us. So let me show you. They do have all of the lesson plans each week written out for you, so you can see what you need to do each day in the different subject areas. They have these great little boxes that you can check off. You've got your Bible, language arts, spelling, English, which would be their writing, math drills, what you fill in the blank with whatever math you happen to be using, geography, science, music and art, reading, foreign language if you chose to do that, which we did not, and then you had some read-alouds. There's also a supplement for your 7th and 8th graders, because obviously there are going to be some more expectations for those age ranges, and so there's additional things there for them to do. And they do a great job of outlining your day for you. On Monday, this is what you were supposed to cover. This is what you're supposed to talk about. These are extra questions for you to go over with your kids. There are games for you to play. List of special materials that you'll need for the week. It's all there, all written out for you. And as we got started in using this curriculum, we made it through the first 12 weeks. And what I noticed happening for our family is we were not able to get it all done. Because from that long list of things that I just read you, we needed a stack of books that was about this big just for our family time, just for our group time, our group subjects that we were all learning all together. So we would have geography, and we would need to grab these books, and we would have to turn to certain pages that we read out of the geography books, and which is actually, this is from Masterbooks Publishing. Then we had geography from A to Z. We would have to turn to that book, which again is not actually in My Father's World book. It's an extra book that you would order. Then you would have a window. What is this? Window on the World that you would turn to and read some of that. Depending on what you were studying, you might have to turn in. This is an Usborne book that you had to look at. All of that for like geography. Oh, then you had the Rand McNally Atlas. You would have to study a map. And finally, your Maps and Globes book, which again, not a My Father's World. So we're flipping through all of these books. Then we've also got the Great Animal Search that you might have to look at, in addition to your science topics that got covered in properties of ecosystems. It was a lot. Then for your Bible time, you would be reading Hero Tales or Kingdom Tales. Again, not published by My Father's World. These, I will say, are phenomenal. These YWAM biographies of the different missionaries, these are fantastic. All of my kids have enjoyed us reading these together, not by My Father's World. So I had this huge stack of things to try to flip back and forth through. Then we had questions that we have to go over. They might have a worksheet because I ordered the big package of My Father's World where we got all the worksheets that went with it. I ordered 2 copies because I didn't want to have to make copies. I just wanted to have all the materials in front of me when we got ready to do it. It took forever. It took forever. Now, maybe that's just us, and maybe that's because I had 3 kids doing the classes and Gideon listening along with us because he was kind of a pre-K kindergarten. And then I had a 2-year-old playing. We were trying to get this done in the 2-hour nap time period. And it never worked. It was always too much. And every day, my boxes in my teacher's manual, they were never checked off. And I was getting really overwhelmed. The kids were frustrated because their school days were taking so long. It would be supper time, and I would still be struggling to help them with their individual subjects because these were like the add-on things. You know, the geography, and how all of that wrapped together with geography and science was great. But that's kind of like the almost electives for your elementary kids. You got to do reading. You got to do math. You've got to do your language, your English, however you want to say that, whether it's language, arts, or English. You've got to do those things. You've got to do your spelling. But then we had all these other things, and it took forever. And to be honest with you, they weren't enjoying these. They did not enjoy the geography because it was an overview. And so it didn't delve deeply into the cultures. It was just like learning very surface level topical facts. But we didn't have time to delve deeply into anything because we still had to do spelling, and we had to do reading, and we had to do writing, we had to do language, we had to do our math. And everybody was overwhelmed, and our days were taking too long, and nobody was enjoying it. The parts of the day that the kids really enjoyed, again, was when we read the biographies, when we read Hero Tales, but especially when we read Kingdom Tales. That was the best book. We all loved it as a family. The kids always asked to read more. They always wanted to read one more chapter. So we, as a family, spent over $1,000 on all the bells and whistles of absolutely everything we would need for all three of my kids to do My Father's World. That included all the add-ons of the Spelling Power, which was their recommended spelling program. Well-Trained Mind puts out their Writing with Skill that they suggest you use. We have worked the cover right off that book, but that was what my daughter used for writing. We used the language lessons for today, the writing skills for today, for their individual grade levels. I ordered it all. All of this stuff over here got put away after Christmas. We could not get it all done, and we did not enjoy it. All of that extra stuff got put away. We continued to use the biographies, and we continued to use Kingdom Tales as I read aloud, and I scratched everything else. It was a miserable failure because I saw that we spent a lot of money, spent a lot of time with what didn't work, and I shelved it. In the moment of feeling disappointed and discouraged because of those things, I had to be willing to look at the situation and say, you know, the freedom of being a homeschool mom is having the flexibility to say what I've been doing is not working and I've got to find something that does. And that's exactly what we did. So we continued to use the read alouds because they were really good and the kids enjoyed those. I did make Properties of Ecosystems Benji's science. He was doing fourth grade at the time. That's what he used for his science. And it was great. He liked reading through it. The lessons don't take too long. There are questions to answer. There are extra projects that you can add on if you want to when you have time. We continue to use that with him. We continue to do the writing skill and language lessons for today, which were great. They're short. They're simple. They're open and go. We got them done. That's what we continue to use with him. We also used Spelling Power with him, which worked very well. We also used this with Lila. For Henry's age, him being younger, we use Spelling by Sound and Structure, I think, which is actually Rod and Staff. Is that right? Yes, which is actually through Rod and Staff. It also works really well. He liked it. He enjoyed it. And it wasn't too overwhelming. That's what we continued to use for all of the kids that was from My Father's World. Well, let me say, for my daughter, we did continue to use Writing with Skill, but we slowed it down. It's supposed to be done 5 days a week, and there's things to do on day 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and you're supposed to do it every week. We broke it down and stretched them out over 2 weeks because putting it all in 1 week, sometimes there was a day where you had to write a paper, and on that day, you know, if you spend 2 or 3 hours writing a paper that is 2 or 3 pages long, like that, it's going to take some time to do. So we found that it was better to stretch it over 2 weeks rather than just 1. The other thing from My Father's World that we continued to use were these study guides that went with novels. She happens to do Swiss Family Robinson right now. She did Anne of Green Gables. These are great especially if you have not read the book. You can't really discuss it with them, so this is a great way to see, did they retain what they read? Are they able to comprehend it? Learning new vocabulary words. But have a digging deeper section, which always in some way ties back to scripture and how you can see biblical elements in classic literature. So these we continue to use. However, science for Lila, we went with the Apologia because I had it on the shelf. This was Exploring Creation with Human Anatomy, so this is what she did pretty much independently. This is from Masterbooks. This is what Henry did. Everybody has gone through Masterbooks math. Some people love it, some people hate it. I'm a fan. I am working through this for the third time. Lila has gone all the way through it, and Benji is on level 5 now. Next year he will be level 6. He will have gone all the way through it. Henry is making his way through it. All of my kids like it because it is like a Charlotte Mason-ish style, so it does have a story each week that continues all the way through the series. You grow up with this family, so you read about the family and the math concepts within their story, and then you have the practice problems where you learn new concepts. It's worked well for us. I have no complaints. So this was the math we had selected to continue with, and we have stayed with that throughout the year. So when we changed up our schedule, we kept the language, we kept the math, we split up science, we did away with the geography, we did away with this mountain of books, and we did read aloud as a family. That is how our school year wrapped up. So felt like a lot of failure, but in the end, it shifted, made some hard changes, and I feel like we ended at a very successful place. One of the things that I started to do with my kids was make them checklists. What I used with Lila was actually a planner. So each week she gets her list of what she has to do. It will tell specific page numbers, lessons, so she can follow this and check this off. We did make one big change for her this year. She started doing her math online with teaching textbooks because she is in algebra, and that's starting to get beyond me. And I can't teach that to her anymore. She has enjoyed teaching textbooks. She does really well with it. And so that's what we're using with her. So she is able to have her list of things she's able to go through, check off what she's done. I look over her work at the end of the day or every couple days, just depending on what it is. And it gives her a sense of, being able to be responsible for herself, being able to look at what needs to be done and kind of set her own pace, and gives her some accountability there. Now, I don't think my boys are quite ready for something quite that in-depth, so we've just been keeping it super simple with them. They get their days listed out. They have their things for each day, because they do have a sense of accomplishment when they can mark off, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. I included on theirs daily Bible reading time, and their chores also, because everybody has something that they are responsible for because they're part of the family. So that is what our school year looks like in the beginning and how our school year ended up. I hope this encourages you that even if you invested a lot of money and time picking out the perfect curriculum, if in the end it doesn't work for you and it doesn't work for your family, take that freedom and flexibility that comes with homeschool and make a change. Overcome your fear of failure and just admit, hey, what we're doing is not working and we're going to try something else. That's exactly what we did. And luckily, as we kept, working along and kind of changing things out, switching things up, we found what really did work for us. We ended the school year at a really good place because we found a way to learn together as a family and for them to take some responsibility for their education and with their learning as well.